Welcome back to the sanctuary of the untold, the corner of the digital universe where we slow the spin of headlines and listen for the quieter truths pulsing beneath them. You are watching Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and tonight we're stepping into a story that has lingered in whispers, a secret everyone felt but no one could touch. In a world where celebrity love affairs blaze hot and burn out faster than a trailer drop, the union at the center of our focus has chosen another script entirely. A vow to shield the heart, to let warmth grow slowly, to live romance not as spectacle but as sanctuary. For months, a hum has traveled through Istanbul's corridors, those long, echoing hallways of production houses, dressing rooms, and after parties where eye contact says more than captions. The names fueling that current are two of the most compelling figures on our screens, the steady, enigmatic Ozan Akbaba and the luminous, quicksilver spirit of Sinem Ünsal. Their paths have crossed in ways both public and private, industry events that ended late, quiet collaborations, long table reads that stretched into shared jokes and knowing looks. Fans sensed it, the eyes never lie. Separate camera frames somehow told one story, and even if neither of them signed it with a post, the signature traveled anyway. The rumor became a riddle, then a belief, then finally a hush that felt like respect. They didn't feed the gossip cycle with stunts. They never dangled their affection like bait. And the more they refused to be loud, the more the world leaned in, curious, confused, yet inexplicably charmed. Were they or weren't they? Did the moments we thought we saw exist at all? They walked that tightrope together, not for attention, but for preservation. The choice to be silent felt, somehow, like a love letter written in invisible ink. Today, that invisible ink glows. Not because of scandal, not because of a leak engineered for clicks, but because of a milestone so deeply rooted in the culture that it speaks without shouting. Reports from reliable voices in Istanbul say a threshold has been crossed, the families have met. Yes. A gathering, intimate and deliberate, has turned a whispered romance into a promise with witnesses. This is not a fling curated for the timeline. This is architecture. This is the laying of stones for a path meant to be walked for years. Tonight on Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we'll open the door, carefully, respectfully, and look at what this move truly means. We'll talk about the psychology of their quiet, the power of letting the heart grow away from the noise, and the harmonies that their personalities create when they meet in the middle. We'll look at the weight of family in Turkey, at what a shared table can say without words. And we'll ask you, our heartbeat, the question you always answer with bravery: is secrecy the ally of real love in the celebrity world, or does transparency protect it better? As always, if the soulful side of these stories feeds you, make sure you're traveling with us. Your presence is the reason this sanctuary exists. Let's go back to the beginning, because strategy matters. Ozan Akbaba and Sinem Ünsal didn't merely opt out of oversharing, they refined the art of discretion. Appearances together were rare and clinical, work-focused, grounded, brief. No staged breakfasts. No arranged sidewalk ambushes. When paparazzi lights flashed, they treated them like weather, acknowledged, then ignored. That restraint was not fear. It was reverence. It was a decision to treat a fragile beginning with respect, to refuse the easy currency of likes and headlines. Quiet became a greenhouse. The world couldn't trample what it couldn't see. Critics, of course, offered the usual calculus: if a love isn't posted, it must not exist. But reality often sits deeper than a scroll. The whispers today, those that emerged from walls that do not lie, suggest the opposite. Silence was never an empty space. It was a foundation. The concrete was poured while no one watched. Friendship deepened, time became a collaborator, and a spark that might have been consumed by a month of tabloids turned into something steadier. Something that could survive the changing seasons of fame. Their love learned to breathe before it learned to pose. And now the headline that matters more than 10 magazine covers: the families met. In many Western contexts, a dinner with parents might be a casual Tuesday. But here, in this city of old stones and long memories, the event rings with meaning. It is a declaration of intention. It says, without needing to declare, that what two people have found between them belongs not just to individuals, but to histories, to customs, to the river that connects yesterday to tomorrow. This meeting, according to those carefully placed near both sides, wasn't stiff or ceremonial. It was warm. It was human. It was the kind of evening where last names melt and laughter edits the script. Two worlds didn't collide, they blended. The energy, we're told, was natural, sincere, even playful. The table wasn't set for negotiation. It was set for recognition. And what a powerful thing it is when parents see their children not as stars, not as headlines, but as souls who have been searching and may finally, perhaps, have found. Industry veterans interpret this moment with certainty, the path points forward. Engagement has ceased to be a speculative game, it's now a timeline question. Not if, but when. Both Ozan and Sinem are standing at strong points in their careers. Mature, focused, respected. They don't need a headline to fuel a rise. They are choosing this from steadiness, not from hunger. Let's pause here and bring you into the conversation, because your stories matter. How much weight does family carry in your own decisions? Would you move forward if your love stood between clashing lineages, or would you wait for peace? Tell us what the heart can hold, and where it needs shelter. We read every message. Your words, like theirs, are the quiet truths that guide us. And if you felt something steady and beautiful awakening while you listen, let that feeling ring out by supporting Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Your presence keeps this light on. One reason this couple has everyone breathing softer is the way their personalities synchronize. People close to them describe a meeting of opposites that steadies like a compass. Ozan Akbaba brings a grounded, protective force, the calm that organizes chaos, a sense of order that whispers of home. He talks plans, timelines, values, and he does it with a seriousness that doesn't suffocate, it steadies. Beside him, Sinem Ünsal glows. She carries movement and color, an energy that lifts the room without breaking its peace. She is lively yet measured, curious yet contained. When they meet in the middle, they don't erupt, they settle. His steadiness gives her brightness roots. Her brightness gives his steadiness wings. That, insiders say, played no small part in the family dinner's ease. Parents didn't see a headline couple. They saw two puzzle pieces that finally clicked. Not the dramatic pendulum of passion that swings until it breaks, but the even heartbeat of something that can last past the first act. Calm and mature love, fans call it online, and the phrase fits like a ring. Where one is strong, the other is tender. Where one is fearless, the other is wise. It's less fireworks, more candlelight, less noise, more music. And let's be clear, that evening wasn't a finale. It was a beginning pistol, the kind that echoes for weeks. We're told the dialogue didn't end when the teacups were cleared. Calls continued. Plans whispered. Schedules, always the enemies of actors, were negotiated with intention. Family members kept meeting in smaller constellations, letting the threads knit tighter, row by row. The content of those conversations? Not weather. Not ratings. We're hearing about calendars, about seasons, about an outline that looks a lot like a future. Friends say that in trusted circles, Ozan has been speaking about order, about making a home as carefully as he makes a role. Sinem, for her part, has been honest about balance, ambition and love as two hands clasped instead of two forces in battle. These are not the notes of a fling. These are the blueprints of a house. They've learned from journeys behind them. They know the cost of rushing. They know the fatigue of being seen before you've even learned what you are. This time, the intention is to build slowly, to put weight where the ground is strongest, to measure twice and then place the beam. It's why the air feels different. It's why even the rumor mill sounds gentler when it says their names together. And the public? Surprisingly, beautifully, kind. Instead of possessive outrage or cynical commentary, the tide online has been approving, even protective. The choice to guard their intimacy has been called exemplary, a lesson for a generation raised on disclosure. Among the praise, a new rumor has captured imaginations, a short escape, a break carved from relentless filming schedules. A trip that's less about beaches and more about breathing. The story goes that this time away is meant to rest the body, yes. But more importantly, to mark time after the families met, to talk without interruption, to look each other in the eye and set the season ahead. In romance, a quiet journey like this often precedes a question asked on one knee. It's a detail that has sent hope skyward. Through it all, Ozan and Sinem remain the calm center of a storm of speculation. No statement. No glossy reveal. No curated soft launch. Their silence invites two readings, both tender. Some believe every whisper is true and they're simply waiting for the perfect moment to share what they've already sealed in their hearts. Others believe they're doubling down on protection, guarding their joy until the moment it carries legal weight and a ring reflects the sun. Either way, the lesson is the same: they intend to grow this at a pace that feels sacred to them, not to us. This is not the familiar tabloid arc, fireworks, then ash. This feels like a vintage. Slow to ferment. Subtle to the first sip. Deepening with time. Friends around them speak of subtle transformations. Coworkers mention a brighter focus from Ozan, a motivation that looks suspiciously like happiness. Those close to Sinem say the ground beneath her feels steady, that the calm she projects on screen has found a warm echo off it. Past chapters have taught them both to read the map before taking the road. They're not naive. They're prepared. And that difference changes everything. So, what comes next? Perhaps a statement crafted with care. Perhaps a photograph that says more than a caption could. Perhaps nothing, for now, except life lived away from our eyes. And if that's the case, the story is no less beautiful. Because what Ozan Akbaba and Sinem Ünsal teach, without preaching, is that the best things grow while no one watches. That tenderness doesn't need a megaphone. That a love can be great and still be gentle. In the days ahead, the river will reveal its bend. We will listen, not pry. We will watch, not demand. And we will keep celebrating the possibility that something rare is unfolding, a promise spoken quietly, strong enough to carry into tomorrow. Thank you for opening this door with us tonight, for stepping softly into this room where two people have chosen to become a we. If you're rooting for them, let your hope be known in words, not noise, and if you want to walk even closer beside these stories, you know where to find us. This is Turkish Spotlight Secrets, grateful for your presence, honoring your trust, and already preparing the next chapter. Until then, may your own love be built on solid ground, patient and bright, brave and kind. Good night.